Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
A lovely and beautiful Friday morning. It is the 14th day in the month of February 2025, and obviously it is Valentine's Day. Yippee! Happy Valentine's to everyone listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. We're wishing you a day that is filled with joy, that is filled with laughter, and of course, cherished moments. And let's quickly seize this opportunity to really appreciate you for your support, always sticking around, always trusting Mainland 98.3 FM with all the programs lined up for you to enjoy at every point in time. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your contributions and everything. Really appreciate that. And definitely we hope for a better union, a better conversations together on this frequency. So on that note, I welcome you to Morning Express this beautiful morning. Of course, trends in the papers will be a focus really in the next couple of minutes this morning. And of course, we'll have to go through several and couple of stories and headlines in our dailies this beautiful morning. So welcome on board. My name is Modupe Akinyosoye. You can call me Lady Mo. And also I have my Valentine for today, Sage Babalola. Will you be my Valentine?
No. Yeah, I'm not a preacher of love.
Really?
I'm in that
Yeah, preacher of what?
I'm in that Bosky. We don't do that around here. Good
no.
morning and happy Valentine's Day.
Wish you a happy Valentine's Day.
You can say happy Valentine's to Fuad if you like. He's on the line.
Fuhad Said, happy Valentine's Day to you.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, Lady Mo. How are you doing this morning?
You're doing very well, thank you.
Fuad, you not talk to me.
You
not talk to me, Fuad, because I said that. you not talk. No, Allah, it's fine. No.
Happy Valentine's Day to you.
I don't want again. It's too late.
I'll be hoping to see a lot of gifts arriving in the office.
What do you mean? Half the people in the office right now are wearing black.
I have a fire in my office, so when the gifts are coming in, I'll be seeing it.
Fuad, half the people in the office are wearing black. We are in Davos housing. We don't preach love around here. But
I don't want stories, eh? All those guys were sending gifts into the office.
I hope so. I hope people can look past my wickedness and send me.
I know so. I know. I trust them. They are responsible men out there. Well, who should do that for you?
Okay. We hope so. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. We hope that you have a day filled with love. Spend time with your friends and family. Every day is a day to show love, I know. But then there's a day that is marked to really highlight the need for us to love each other, care for each other, and be united. So please let's show love today, except people like Fuad that I don't really like. I'm not showing any love to Fuad. But then again, yes, Mᴏᴜ, please lead us on.
All right, of course. Part of the love being shown is the apology from the major telecommunication company, which was rolled out yesterday. You did?
I loved it. I don't know why people found it offensive. I loved it. I loved the way it was presented. They didn't put out an official statement and no grammar.
Right.
Said, we know we've messed up. We know we please.
Somebody tagged it as gaslighting.
It's not gaslighting. They don't have a choice. At least some people increase rates and did not tell us anything. You just wake up, effective immediately. Your tariff have increased by 5%.
Right.
I liked it. Did you like? You don't seem like you enjoyed it very much.
I'm just indifferent about it actually.
But
the fact that they came out to apologize, I mean to just say something, it's okay.
Fuad, that was an apology. Do you like that apology?
For me, I think they were just catching crews, really. But,
for
people who are spending their money, because I could see that there are people who are really furious, really. 200%. It was supposed to be 50%.
Right.
You need 200%, and the apology came, and you don't cast, make it move red. But again, we're in the period of catching crews. People like crews a lot, so I think MTN just got in the mood too. Nigeria, it'd be nice to have a conversation with their PR guys. What came to their mind when they were doing that? But I didn't feel offended, really. I use MTN. I probably would not have known that there was that 200%
Rich
increment.
kid,
Anyway.
rich kid of Beverly Hills.
No,
Girl.
that's
Kid
about
of Beverly Hills.
the reality that you know that until that press statement was issued, maybe a lot of their subscribers would not have known.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, you know. But I just thought that they wanted to get into the Gen Z mood, you know, just catch some cruise. I think the Gen Z will like it. I'm a bit indifferent about
I'm
it.
not Gen Z. Well, whatever. Well, it was an okay apology. They were just trying to make it relatable. Like I said, some people did not apologize for it, and you know that some people just told us effective immediately. You're paying more and nothing. There was no
But we
statement.
have to
Nothing.
see MTN give some freebies, you know, in the spirit of Valentine, just to balance it up.
Right.
Fuad had sent a link this morning just because of our time, and I'm mentioning that it was Fuad because I'm not even interested. The whole conversation around Two-Face and his divorce and everything. The papers have the story, which beats me. Why is it even on the front page? It's on the front page of the dailies.
Yeah.
Yes, Fuad. It's on the
Yes.
front page of the
I think you
dailies.
should have made the front
Why
page.
is it a front page story? People separate all the time.
A whole
There's
Two-Face.
controversy all
a
the
legend.
time.
He's a legend, though.
He's a man. He's a legend, but he's a
legend is
man.
Two-Face himself.
You know.
A legend or not, he is fundamentally a man. Men act out all the time. I don't think it's
Not an
front
ordinary
cover
man.
story.
What are you saying?
His mom puts out a video. You know, he is
Yeah.
engaged now to the senator. I think she's representing Edo, or is it the
Natasha.
Yes,
Assembly
Natasha.
member.
Yes, and they're engaged now. And the mom put out a video. Please don't pay attention to my son. He's going through a
Leave
difficult
my
time. He's not in his right mind. And then she tells the senator Natasha to leave her son alone. Well, I don't see a
Not a
string.
senator, assembly member.
Assembly
not the
member,
senator.
I beg your pardon. Assembly member. You see how I don't really assembly member. I'm so
Is he really
sorry.
follow?
And then I don't see Natasha putting a string on his neck to pull him around. He's
Right.
a grown man. What do you mean leave him alone? He can make decisions. But Fuad seems very interested in this story.
Fuad.
So I don't.
No.
Yeah.
I need to first tell Steve. You said you don't see anything on Two-Face's neck. It might not be something physical. That's what the
Deep
mother is
sigh.
saying. Allegedly.
That's what she did insinuate in the video. It's a video. I was going to extract that audio, but for some reason it escaped my mind. And she's insinuating he's not in his right mind. He's doing things without thinking. He's overwhelmed with the divorce proceeding, and so we should beg Miss Natasha to leave her son alone. Come on, he's in his 40s. He's a grown man with a fully formed frontal lobe. What do you mean?
I think it's 49. It will be 50.
Right.
Maybe this year or next year.
Right.
I wish them all the best. Really, I hope they sort it out.
But you know, we can't question the reason of the murder. Really, I guess there are things that are getting her troubled. But the only thing that comes to mind is, it's not a man that has been shown any real faithfulness really in relationships and marriage. So how this one becomes that somebody puts something on his neck is what I'm thinking. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
If you want a man that is not known for things like this before, see, Lady Mabi, I'm not making sense.
You are.
Answer now. Why are you looking? Answer the question.
You are.
If it was a man that is not known for this kind of
Right.
movement,
Right.
kind of waka waka, he would have said that, well, there could be some level of truth in
Two-Face.
what the mother is saying.
Two-Face, two
Yeah,
baba.
she might know some things we don't know, really. But I'm just saying that, look, this is a man that, it has never really been that straightforward with how he deals with women. That's not to question his rights to do whatever he wants to do. It might just be his nature, really. It's just someone that loves them plenty. Sometimes you can't question nature in some of these things.
What? Let's go
And
and
it's not
talk
for us
about
to get too emotional about it. It's just what it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
of
go and talk
course.
about national
Of course.
issues and let's leave Two-Face alone.
Some had said Two-Face or two baba for a reason, but let's leave that.
But what do you think about nature when it comes to
There's
conversation?
there's no scientific proof whatsoever that there's a gene or a brain wiring that causes you to be an unfaithful person. But let's move away from that. Mᴏᴜ, please help us here.
I want to talk about faithfulness.
Fuad, your microphone is going off.
All right, leaving that aside, of course, still trends in the papers on mainland 98.3 FM. And of course, we'll go through a couple of headlines and stories in our daily this beautiful morning just to keep you abreast and keep you updated on what is happening. And definitely, as always, Fuad Said will be giving us a profound analysis to those just for a couple of minutes. And of course, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Join us live on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. And of course, you can listen via our website www.mainlandfm.com. And also, you can listen via Radio Garden. At the appropriate time, we made the phone lines phone lines available for you to be part of the conversation this beautiful morning. So join us this morning. Let's have yet another lovely conversation. And for those that care to know where the president is at the moment, he has arrived in Addis Ababa, the Ethiopian capital, to participate in the 38th ordinary session at the Assembly of the African Union Heads of State and Government, which will last from February 14 to 18, 2025. All right, so away from that, let's kickstart. I'll be picking the Punch newspaper this beautiful morning. And I have this very story from the Punch newspaper that says, okay, 54.99 trillion naira budget. Experts list funding hurdles as debt servicing takes 14 trillion naira. The National Assembly on Thursday passed the 2025 appropriation bill of 54.99 trillion naira, allocating 14.32 trillion naira for debt servicing and 13.64 trillion naira for recurrent expenditure covering salaries, overheads, and government operations. Of course, after several approval postponement due to thorough review, increment, and deliberations, the 54.99 trillion naira appropriation was passed by the Senate. And of course, we could recall that President sought for an increment of 4.5 trillion naira from the initial proposal of 49.7 trillion naira, and also the House and Senate committees on appropriation also added 700 billion naira from the 54.2 trillion naira due to to sort for some health support agencies like INEC, DSS, and all of that being their reason to add up to that. And of course, but experts, after commending the government for the budget, definitely decried the cost of financing and how it posed the risk of heightened inflation, speaking to the fact that it could fail to meet the revenue targets, predicting the deficit could lead to borrowing from the central bank, worsening inflation and exchange rate pressure, and also part of how the broken down, or I beg your pardon, broke down the appropriation bill. 54.99 trillion naira, 3.65 trillion naira for statutory transfers, 14.32 trillion naira for debt service, 13.06 trillion naira for recurrent expenditure, 23.9 trillion naira for development fund for capital expenditure. National Assembly will also be taking 344.85 billion naira, National Judicial Council, amongst others. But for what really? For the reservations that the experts have about the passing of the appropriation bill, really talking about predicting the deficit could lead to borrowing at the end of the day, that the government might not be able to meet up with the revenue target. What are your thoughts?
Well, we've not really been able to meet up with any revenue targets, really. And that's why when it comes to our budget performance review, it has always been below average. It's always been below average. So I doubt if anything is going to change with this one. Debt financing, although has improved, from what has been appropriated so far, and based on the expectations, initially was about 90%. Of the entire budget for debt financing, but I think what we have now is about 60%. But again, we just have to look at some of the other realities again in the budget. Now we have 54.99 trillion naira. We can aggregate that to, or just round that up to 55 trillion naira. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know why we even put that 54.99. They should just have put everything to 55 trillion. But there are interesting things to pick out from these budgets that just been passed. Initially was the president had proposed 54.2 trillion, but the National Assembly added 700 billion. Sage and Lɪධᴇ, they added 700 billion
naira.
Billion naira. It can't be dollars. So they added 700 billion to it to make it 54.99 trillion naira. And I think my opinion on the budget, even before this addition came up, is well established. The fact that, look, this is just the same of the same academic exercises we've always been having. The budget does not show that, again, there's going to be a lot of fiscal discipline. The revenue projections quite ambitious, but like the experts are saying, my mind tells me that we may not be able to meet up with a lot of revenue targets. We might still have to borrow more. I think there's a 13 trillion naira deficit already that we'll have to deal with. That would have to mean that we'll have to do some more borrowing. And at the end of the day, the kinds of things that have been put in the budget is the reason why I'm not hopeful about anything. You know, it's still the same of the same. The things we are buying, the things we are renovating, where monies are going into. It's all a mirage, really. It's just another exercise that's taking us nowhere. And that's why you see that, for example, the National Assembly budget of over 300 billion does not have any breakdown. You don't know where the monies are going into to keep appropriating these things. So I think it's a budget, again, that takes care of the political class and their cronies. It's a budget that, would of course run us into another, crisis when it comes to financing and deficit management. But at the end of the day, these are things we continue to do until there's a change, in our plans to, when it comes to doing the right thing, we'll probably not be able to get some of these things right. So it is what it is. We just have to pass the budget so that we can move on. We can't continue to, hold on to the budget. As it is, we are still running the 2024 budget.
Right.
Just to be able to finance the capital expenditure components of the budget. So another exercise guys have been taken care of. The political guys have been able to sort themselves out. I think National Assembly is happy. I'm sure somehow they will also be able to take care of their own interests. And we just have to learn to move on. There's nothing we can do about it. In past, it's in past. We can only say what we want to say. They will do what they want to do. And it's not what they want to do. So let's learn to move on.
All right. Of course, moving ahead, page 2 captures that very story. Sage, please help me out.
And now over to the Vanguard, we have electricity as medicine, hidden cost of providing healthcare in darkness. Now, this is an editorial put forward by the Guardian newspaper, and it reads, for over 3 months, Nigeria's premier teaching hospital, the University College Hospital, UCH Ibadan, grappled with an unprecedented power crisis that disrupted surgeries, paralyzed diagnostic services, and turned the once revered facility into a dark abyss. Like an epidemic, poor energy access have plagued some other avoidable deaths of many poor Nigerians who are at the intersection of energy poverty, a high electricity tariff regime, and a frail health sector whose underbelly is petrifying. Now, like I said, this is a report by The Guardian. The report just mainly highlights the struggles of those who use these public institutions, especially UCH. As you know, for the past 108 days, there was no power. But following meetings with relevant stakeholders, including Adebayo Adelabu, the Minister of Power, there were resolutions to restore power in some parts of UCH, and he had also called that there should be a separation of the power bills, the commercial part of the university, the hospital part, the medical part of the university, amongst other things. Now, even since the restoration or the partial restoration, 2 halls in that university have not seen power, and the students intend to protest today, Thursday, that power was restored to some parts, but their own halls, 2 of it, was ignored from the restoration process. This report, Fuad, highlights that we are in a bit of a problem, and the resolution tactic of this particular minister does not seem to be doing that much. Outside his recommendations, what model do you think we need to put in place to ensure that our most critical infrastructures have access to cheap, affordable power?
To just answer your question straight, I think the government needs to understand that, look, this is an essential service to ordinary and poor Nigerians, and they must treat it like that. They must handle it like that. And in doing that, they must understand that, look, this unbridled, unguided, desperate revenue drive is going to continue to kill Nigerians. Because if healthcare is being taken like this because the government just wants to make money, look, there are things I've been able to dig up in the power sector that I'm not going to discuss for now. What I can call a structure that is just intended on continuing to cause pain and hardship on ordinary Nigerians. And it's not about making money. When people just sit down, the only thing they think about is how to continue to make money. Look, there are things you don't handle this way. because again of how important that sector is to the well-being of ordinary people. But you know they don't care, say. They don't use these facilities. If they use these facilities, say, I can tell you that these facilities would not be in this condition. If you look at that report very well, say, you know they also talked about Loop and some other public hospitals.
Yes.
And the stories that patients or families of patients are saying, the things they are saying about their predicament. Say, look, I've listened to a doctor, a very senior doctor who told me that, look, how would a patient feel, for example, when you are taken to a hospital and everywhere is dark? That look, if you were coming with headache before, you will start to have malaria. Other things will start, because you know what it means for you to approach a hospital hoping to be taken care of, and the place is in darkness. And then apart from that, the doctor was also talking about the fact that, look, there are some medication that require some level of, freezing. You know, some of them are put in the fridge, in the freezers for their active ingredients to remain active. And so that's why sometimes they say, look, they give people injection and the thing is not even working because they've been put under the wrong temperature. Because again, there's no light, the refrigerators are not working, the freezers are not working to be able to store these drugs properly. And that's the story of our public health sector. The ones that you and I use, the poor Nigerians use. And here you have a minister who doesn't give a damn. Look, if you look at his body language, he doesn't care. What is the only thing that he has in his head is how to continue to make money. That's his priority. He doesn't see the danger. The fact that surgeries are failing. And when surgeries fail, people are going to die needlessly. He doesn't see that. There's no sense of urgency, no sense of responsibility, no commitment to the well-being and welfare of the people. It's clear. And that's why I said that shame on him and the others that kept ECH in darkness for 108 days. And so the only thing they can say is, okay, there should be partial restoration and separation of bills. Who cares whether there's partial restoration or restoration? We are saying people are dying needlessly. And it's because it is what belongs to the poor people. They don't care. Go to look at the stories in the paper. People should please try and read the Guardian newspaper and get the stories of people. Oh, because there's one union band aid that we brought up to continue to inflict pain on the people, just because we don't have a sensitive government. So this is what we're going to continue to deal with. Subsidy has been removed. You said you spend a lot of money. So where are the money? Can the money be deployed into the sectors like this? And this will help the poor people. That's what we are saying. And then the next thing they will tell you that their safety net, their sharing rights are being. Most people are dying needlessly in our hospitals because there's no light. And later they will tell the student doctor, oh, be patriotic. Don't leave the country. Don't jump out. What are we telling our young ones? What is the story? What are we telling them? Oh, you've changed the national anthem. And you think that is going to lead to patriotism automatically? Whereas in your public hospital, there's no light. And you have a minister who is just practically faffing around about the issue. No sense of urgency. You don't understand what it means for the hospital not to have light. Change. Our teaching hospitals, for God's sake.
Thank you, Fuad. Page 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper has this particular report.
We hope we don't continue to play politics with things that we shouldn't. Of course, in case you are just tuning in, it is Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. You can join us live on Facebook and YouTube at the Mainland 98.3 FM. And of course, we are going through a couple of stories and headlines in our dailies this beautiful morning. Back to the Punch newspaper. Speaking of insecurity issue in the country, the Southwest governors plan joint operation against ISWAP terrorists. The Southwest Governors Forum, comprising the governors of Lagos, Osun, Oyo, Ogun, Ekiti, and Ondo State, have agreed to establish a joint security surveillance to tackle terrorists under the banner of the Islamic State West Africa province. And of course, this actually came amid earlier reports of infiltration of terrorists into some forests in the southwest region. Specifically, the governor of Oyo State, Jᴏɪᴜ Makinde, warned in January that bandits fleeing military operations in the northwest were seeking refuge in Oyo State. And basically, they all acknowledged that the threats of ISWAP activities in the region, and they actually condemned it in totality. And part of the resolution was to combat the terrorists with technology, including the use of aerial surveillance, and also establish a joint surveillance monitoring team to oversee and coordinate security efforts across the southwest region. The question is, are they doing enough? Because this is not the first time that we've been seeing over security, both even food insecurity in the southwest region and security issue in the southwest region. Have they been doing enough? And what should they be doing differently at this time when they are meeting again after the alarm has been raised by Oyo State governor that we need to wake up. We need to wake up. Recalling even Igboho also had to talk about infiltration of terrorists and all of that, blah blah blah, killings and attacks in the southwest region. Fuad.
Well, we need to wake up, really. This story of this terrorist infiltrating the southwest has been in the news, has been making the headlines for almost 2 to 3 weeks now. I think it all started when the governor of Oyo State, Jᴏɪᴜ talked about it, that look, our forests have become some form of safe haven for these guys who are having it very tough with the Nigerian military, and then of course they are moving down south, and of course hiding in our different forests, and that look, we just have to be on their line. Whatever we need to do, really, whether joint operations, joint intelligence, joint effort, joint funding, it's just very important that our southwest governors understand that, look, yes, they are still the chief security officers of their respective states, and there can be that shared intelligence, shared understanding of how to keep the southwest safe from these terrorists and troublemakers. So whatever needs to be done has to be done, really. And I like the idea of the governors thinking together, working together, collaborating. But when it comes to regional security, there's need for that collaboration. So I just hope that, look, beyond just mere words, there will be serious commitment to doing the right thing to keep the southwest safe and secure. So we wait to see. I think the governors are meeting in Lagos. I think the report is saying that, look, there's a meeting of the southwest governors in Lagos. And I hope that that's going to be one of the major agenda to be discussed. And as they discuss it, we are hoping that, look, we're going to see some serious commitment. It could be through Amotekun, it could be through Vigilante. We need to involve the OPC. Why not? I'm also thinking that the traditional rulers also have a role to play. CDAs, CDCs, all hands must be on deck to keep ourselves safe.
All right, thank you for what said.
And back to the Guardian now. It reports Lamata increases BRT fare by 18%. The Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Lamata, has announced an 18% fare increase across its Bus Reform Initiative (BRI) scheme. The increase is expected to take effect from Monday, the 17th February, across all routes. In a notice on its X handle yesterday, Lamata stated that the reason for the increase is the cost of operations and the need to ensure that buses keep running to guarantee public movement around Lagos. Now, Lagosians have started to react to this increase. One thing that has been brought consistently to the fore is the fact that the government were quite particular about converting the bulk of their public transport system to CNG-powered vehicle so that they don't have to spend so much money fueling these buses and people can continue to enjoy the subsidy on public transportation. But unfortunately, this initiative have not been able to do anything, as now Lamata has announced an 18% increase in fare, something that would see price or cost of transportation continue to skyrocket. Fuad, talk about the implementation of government policies, especially when it comes to providing safety net, palliative or subsidy to the general public.
Well, see, again, very, very important story to the conversation around, the government commitment to say, we're going to give palliatives, there will be safety nets created, or when subsidies removed, the money will be deployed into other areas, to take care of the needs of the poor and most vulnerable in the society. Remember that when this whole subsidy thing was going to become a problem, one of the things the Lagos State government did as a base to the people was that they were reducing the transport fare.
Yes.
On their own buses. I think it didn't last up to a month before they took it up again. I think they did it for some time, and people were saying, you didn't even wait for maybe 3 months or so that you said you were going to do it before you took it up again. Now it has now been officially increased. Transport fare on the BRTs have now been officially increased by 18%. And if you look at the story, what are they saying? They're also talking about what? Rising cost of operation.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So For people who use these buses because they think it's government and it's much more affordable, you have to deal with the illiterate, you have to pay 50% more now. And the excuse or the explanation is that, look, fueling and all of that has gone up, maintenance costs, I'm sure they also buy spare parts. See, and they leave the mood. These guys, yes, when their buses are 40, they will still have to go to the spare parts shop to buy spare parts. And then the Igbo boys who are also paying heavily to clear their containers will also show them pepper. So we are all feeling it, and we'll continue to feel it. The people that are not feeling it, I always tell you, are the politicians and their cronies, who have their hands and legs in the cookie jar. They are able to take care of themselves. They have their families. They are able to slide through the system. So they know how to take care of themselves. But this is a reality we continue to deal with. And that's why some Lagosians are asking a very basic and simple question in the story. You guys told us that, look, it is becoming too expensive to run on fuel. Why don't you convert your vehicles to CNG? And I always talk about leadership by example. Say, why can't the Lagos State government, for example, and other governments too, who own public buses, also convert their vehicles, their buses to CNG? As an example of how, efficiently, transportation costs can be brought down using CNG. It would have been nice, for example, say, to see Lagos State government full matter take the lead, convert all the BRT buses to CNG, and see, and show people that, look, with the CNG buses, you can see that we drop the cost. Look, when people say things and they are not committed to, I'm saying that a lot of the things they say, there's no commitment to it. You know what they say by GMC? Just tell them, for the sake of telling them something. In the operations, in the implementation, by the time you analyze it critically, you know that there are no intention really to get those things done. As of the policy statements we throw out, you don't see any implementation because at the point when the thing was being formulated, there was really no clear intention of how to implement it. I keep saying, where are the CNG stations? See, where are the stations? And how can something that is not available be a reasonable alternative to the rising cost of petroleum products? So then here we are, again, Lagosians who use the BRT buses have to now live with this reality. Because basically, you have a government that was not thinking through before they announce it. When we were talking about the when they remove subsidy and the fact that there was really no plan, people didn't allow us to talk. One of the areas we said to mitigate the effect of subsidy removal would have been through the public transport system. But I say that, look, the only state that has even alleviated the suffering of people through public transportation has to be Lagos. Even though the BRT arrangement in Lagos is whack, it's not functional. To say the list is useless, in reality, you've seen where BRTs are run functionally. The one we have in Lagos is whack. But people don't even question this thing because they don't see it. They've not seen where these things work. Have you seen the buses in recent times, the BRT buses? Lady Mo. I saw one, there was nothing. The engine, the engine compartment was open. All the windows were off. The buses can't even be maintained. Those were buses that came with air conditioners and Wi-Fi. I don't use it, but I'm sure people complain a lot about the maintenance culture on these buses. The BRT tracks cannot even be properly maintained. How many buses do we have now? A lot of them are not on the road. A lot of people on the BRT stations swing endlessly because the buses are not arriving on time. We can't even run an efficient public transportation system. And then we talk about a mega city. And that's how I say that, look, go to places where these things work. You understand that what we're doing here is such a shame.
Thank you very much, Fuad, for your submission on the matter.
All right, of course, still perusing the pages. We have this very story back to the Punch. Nasarawa uncovers 2,277 illegally employed teachers. An investigative committee recently set up by the Nasarawa state government to look into matters relating to recruitment across schools in the 13 local government areas of the state uncovered 2,277 legally employed teachers by the State Teachers Service Commission, and these followed, several rumors of recruitment scandals in the commission and the state government suspension of the officials of the TSC to allow for a smooth investigation into, the dealings. And while receiving the reports of the investigative committee on Thursday at the government house, the state governor, Abdullahi Sule, said the suspended TSC officials had not been fair to the state because they went overboard to recruit 3,277 teachers instead of 1,000 as approved by the administration. And he according to him, even said, what is more, talking about, he asked questions, where are you going to get the money to pay them? Where are they going to be posting them? And even he said the biggest worry is that the entire exercise was not done on merit, which means they have been engaging people who are not qualified to be posted as teachers, pointing out so many things amongst others. And of course, we've been getting reports of even, ghost workers and even some workers that are relocated from Nigeria to abroad and still getting paid. A lot of, loopholes in recruitment, job racketeering and all of that. How do we put a stop to this, if not eradicate totally forward?
Well, it's our processes. For this Nasarawa case, who is complaining now? The governor.
The governor.
He's complaining. So there was no brief to the Teacher Service Commission in the state on the numbers of new teachers to be recruited. You don't understand what I'm saying. Before they started recruiting those teachers, or unless it was done before he became the governor. Again, the story does not say that. Look, it was probably something that was really done. So I'm sure there must have been a proper brief, memo to the Service Commission to say these are the number of teachers we should recruit. This should be the processes. This should be the standard. Maybe they're going to be writing exams and all of that. So who are the guys that handle it? And this complaint, this lamentation of the governor, what are we supposed to do with it? Or just to tell us, or what? If he has found anything illegal, you should just take care of it. Do the right thing. They probably call for another process. I don't know what this lamentation is about. That's what I'm saying. What are we supposed to do? We that we are reading it now, or the Nigerians that he has been telling. It means that there's a problem with his own processes too in the state, and he should tidy it up. Just tidy up his back end and ensure that the right thing is done, so that look, the people that are supposed to be in class teaching the students are not there. We understand that there will be job racketeering. The thing is, he is the one that will pay their salary.
Right.
So if you do illegal recruitment, you will have to be the one to pay them yourself. That should be the stand of the governor. Because I know the Tax Service Commission cannot pay by themselves. They would have to still get money from the state government to pay them. So it's just for the governor to tidy it up and do the right thing. I don't know why we should be hearing about this. I don't know what they're expecting us to do with this kind of information.
All right. Thank you, Fuad.
But I'm back to the Guardian newspaper now, and there's a conversation around the denial of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, visa to Canada. There was a security event in Canada to honor our military personnel all around the world that have passed, and he was denied a visa by the Canadian Embassy. And so the headline reads, NSA criticizes Canadian Embassy for refusing CDS others visas. Like I said, following the announcement by the Chief of Defense Staff, Christopher Musa, of the visa denial, not just himself, but a list of other security personnel from Nigeria. The NSA had quite a lot to say. He was quite disappointed, and we could play something. We could actually play it and hear him comment on the refusal of the Canadian Embassy to give the CDS and other security agents visas to go and honor the invitation that was offered to them from Canada. Just stick around, let's hear this, and then we'll talk about it.
Thank you for the courage to say that Canada denied you. They can go to hell. Even though it's painful, it's disrespectful, but we are people. We are strong. And I agree with you. We have to fix our country. We have to do it well.
Fuad, we oftentimes talk about our presentation to the global world, how people see us. And the NSA seems to believe is the perception of the foreign area. That's why we are disrespected in such a manner. Do you think this is an issue of disrespect, or you believe that there are more critical things to focus on here as to why the CDS would be denied visa to attend an event that he was actually invited to?
Well, actually it's disrespectful to deny the Chief of Defense Staff a visa to attend, a program to honor military veterans. Because again, I'm sure they must have been invited. And the issue with this story is this. The Chief of Defense Staff had been invited to attend a DSS event here in Nigeria. And so he had thought that he wasn't going to be able to attend because he was supposed to be in Canada. But he told them that, look, The lot you guys have is that, look, I was denied a visa to go to Canada, even though some of our other officials are gone. Maybe those ones have the Canadian visa, but again, the story is not complete. Because the teaching was just said that some of the other people are gone. Were those ones giving visas why his own was denied? It's a story that it would be nice to know really what happened. I also think that there are diplomatic channels to address things like this. You know, we have an embassy. I'm sure they also have ambassadors here in Nigeria. At the highest level of diplomacy, I think this can be discussed. This can be looked into, because at the level of chief of defense staff, it's not an ordinary Nigerian. Because some of the ridiculous things you see when Nigerians are denied visas into other countries, you have not shown a good reason that you will come back to your country. That's what they keep putting there. That look, we are not good. We are the way we checked everything. You have not shown a good reason to show that you will come back to your country. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. It will be their fault now. And so when we talk about disrespect, do we also respect ourselves? The way you present yourself is the way they are going to accept you. So I like the fact that the NSA, although the NSA is somebody with hot blood, they should go to hell. People will see one Canadian visa. They don't start everything for everybody.
We have a relationship with Canada as well, which is quite surprising that he would. We have a relationship. We have trade relationship with Canada. So it's surprising that he would say go to hell.
At the highest level of, use the diplomatic channel to address things.
Yeah.
You feel disrespected. But I don't know why that came out of his mouth. So go to hell, because again, my mind tells me that could have been some issues, maybe oversight, some processes that have failed somewhere, because I don't think the Canadian government would just want to deny people just have visas. It's not a man that wants to Japan now, or will not want to come back to his country at his level. I can imagine his travel experiences to different parts of the world. So my mind tells me that there's a problem somewhere that we have not been able to identify. But again, Sage, we should ask ourselves, how do we even present ourselves? I keep saying that, look, half of the time when we say something, the video said the country has problems. They wanted to kill it. Everybody not said, look, the police does not behave themselves. We're going to kill it. So there's a video going viral on social media where I think Sahara Report has also posted it, where policemen were almost going to be killed by, I think they say it's NCDC or soldier, using dagger on the policeman. If you see that video, as security operatives, the way they were behaving, I don't think anybody anywhere in the world will see that video and respect that country. If security personnel can be that reckless in their behavior. And it's not just about that. What about the corruption? The way our politicians carry themselves. And then the fact that, look, things are not functioning, things are not working. Look, how did Singapore in the 70s grew from an underdeveloped developing nation to a nation today that has the most respected passport in the world? See, so how do we, the question we should be asking ourselves from these stories that, look, how do we get leaders, visionary leaders of thought, that would ensure that, look, we deploy our resources to get committed to nation building to the point where these nations will respect us naturally, to the point where they will not be denying us visas because they think our citizens will not come back to their country. That is what we should be thinking about. That's what comes to my mind when I read these stories. It is not their fault. They don't walk off. We should ask ourselves, how did we run the nation on ground? Look, say there was a time going to the UK from Nigeria, you needed not a visa. It is visa on arrival. How did we run the country to the point where now our people are running to the UK? I think there's a worse situation here in Nigeria. That is the question we should be asking ourselves.
Thank you, Fuad. For lack of time, just let's take one more story, Lady Mo.
All right, let's quickly wanted to hear your thoughts as well on the ongoing PDP crisis, really, because on a daily basis, several moves to bring internal democracy into the party seem to not see the light of the day and all of that. And presently, even the South leaders opposing the Benin meeting, the National Working Committee also splitting over, IAU, really facing deepening internal strife as even key figures, challenge the authority of the party leader. And in Abuja yesterday, the embattled National Secretary Samuel Ayawu defied directive from governors, the Board of Trustees, and the National Working Committee to vacate his position for Sunday Ude Okoye. Fuad, really, how do PDP, even in the face of defection and all of that, to the ruling party, how do you think this can be resolved?
PDP will have to do some serious prayers. Go to mountains, go and do all manner of things, abuse of sacrifice. The problem, for every time they try to navigate and resolve their problem, something just happens. And look, the problem, they know the source of the problem. They have just not been able to find a way to deal with the problem. You could see that, look, they are trying to make attempts, really, to take the party away from the people that are ensuring the party remains in crisis.
Right.
And when I say the people that are hell-bent on ensuring that the party remains in crisis, you know the people I'm talking about. Because you know the person I'm talking about. I'm not mentioning this one. So you see that somehow. But the problem is that there are too many people in that party who are just pushing their own personal interest. There's no commitment, really, to the growth of that party. Only for a few, really. And so if you have a party of people that does not have a leadership, for example, that can rein anybody in, it's free for all. Everybody is now a big boy in the PDP. The moment former President L쏘ᴅyɪ tore his party card, the party became a party of free for all. Everybody is a big boy in that party. So nobody can rein anybody in. Don't let anybody sorrow. So everybody just does what they like. The BOT chairman, you see what happened to him. Because he was shooting his mouth where some people there. You know, when somebody told them that I would throw fire into your state, he thought he was joking. The man knows the power he has. So it's not just state. That party will not know peace. Because again, the party has still not been able to find a way to deal with the monster that has refused to allow peace to reign in the party. It's just one individual, just one person.
Scratching everywhere. All right, let me just quickly. Do we have the time? All right, just to a couple of the headlines we have on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Punch also captures the federal government's ex-envoy slammed Canada for denying military chief visas. Page 40 captures that very story. EFCC chair saying that Yahoo boy is now involved in ritual killings and banditry. Page 16 has that very story. And also page 2 carried Northwest communities blame fresh killings on troops withdrawal. Ondo and Ogun clash over ownership of oil-rich island. Page 35 has that story. Customs deliver 3,897 arms and ammunition to control center. Page 30 has that anon loan controversy. Onosoya defends self in court. Page 41 has the very story.
All right, for the rest of the headlines we have on the front page of The Guardian, we do have Southwest Governors partner on regional development, planned joint security team against bandits is on page 6. On page 29, Asagba bans activities of unregistered native doctors. That's on page 29 of The Guardian newspaper. And finally, custom intercept large cache of arms, ammunition in Lagos. That's page 3 of The Guardian newspaper. Finally, for Vanguard, the top story here, banks limiting ATM withdrawal below 20,000 naira face CBN penalty is on page 19. National Assembly passes 54.9 trillion naira 2025 budget on page 8. 1949 massacre of coal miners, families sue federal government, UK government, others. On page 5, telecoms, MTN backpedals, reverses 200% data tariff hike. Labour demands sanction over alleged impunity, as said, is on page 5. Influx of ISWAP, Boko Haram, Southwest governors more creation of joint security outfit, and that is on page 10. And Senate acts to repair bad roads nationwide, also on page 8. That's all we have for you this morning on Trends in the Papers. We have to take a very quick break, so when we come back we can take your contributions. It's still Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Please stay with us.